Top of the morning to you as we are getting ready for the Ravens to travel across the pond to take on the Tennessee Titans. Welcome into this edition of Ravens Rundown by Chat Sports as we get you all set for this matchup. We'll give you my keys to the game, go over the injury reports, preview this, as well as my official prediction coming at the end of the show. The Ravens coming off that loss against the Pittsburgh Steelers, trying to get back on track. Meanwhile, the Tennessee Titans, one of the more confusing teams in the National Football League. 1 week they look really good, 1 week they look really bad. What Titans team is going to show up in London on Sunday? We'll break it all down in a moment. But first, between now and kickoff, we are in a sub-battle with our Titans channel all week long, and our Titans channel beating us in subs at the moment. Got some work to do to win that sub battle. Sub for dubs. Let's take it to Titans today and prove why Ravens fans are the best fans of the National Football League. Subscribe now and join us for our watch party coming up this weekend right here on Ravens Rundown. The injury report for the Ravens. Not quite as long as it was within the last few weeks. Odafe Oweh, Pat, and Morgan, those guys are questionable. The two notables, of course, those offensive tackle positions, but the Ravens did get Ronnie Stanley back, so that is a big relief. More on Ronnie Stanley coming up later on in the show. Meanwhile, the Titans injury report. Treylon Burks, he is questionable with a knee injury. That could be pivotal for that Tennessee Titans offense to see what it's like without him potentially on that front. And Luke Gifford with that hamstring will be something to follow there. Tart as well with the toe injury. He is questionable there. Now, as far as all this goes with the injury front, where the Ravens are at, it is a big relief that this team finally has this injury report cleared up to an extent. And you're about to get, within the next several weeks, a lot of guys back from the PUP list that will be activated within the coming days. And so things are headed the right direction, knock on wood. But I got to tell you, now that they are headed the right direction, you can't go back in reverse course, right? No more injuries, please. Everybody stay healthy. Let's move on from this. We told you the last few weeks were about survival. Now continue to go through that route. No more of this. Let's see this team continue on the right track there. I got my prediction coming up later in the show, but I want to hear from you guys. How will this game shake out? Tell me who wins, what the final score is for Sunday's game in London in the comment section. Our pinned comment today. Let us know what you think. First on the keys to victory for Baltimore. It starts with shutting down Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry, one of the best running backs in the National Football League. He's going to be a Hall of Famer someday. He has been unreal throughout the years, and even as he's gotten older, he's still an incredible running back. And the way this Titans offense is built, it starts and it ends with Derrick Henry. He's essentially their entire offense. If I'm the Baltimore Ravens and I'm game planning for Tennessee, I'll take my chances on facing this Tennessee offense by trying to make Ryan Tannehill beat me. Because I'd feel pretty good if it's us versus Tannehill, essentially. Do what you can to take away Derrick Henry and slow him down. So far this year, King Henry has 328 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns, averaging a little less than 4 yards a carry at this point in the season. And what we've seen from the Ravens, when you talk about matchup-wise where this could work out, is their run defense has been pretty solid to begin 2023. They're 8th in opponent rushing play percentage, 6th in opponent yards per rush at 3.6 yards per rush, 11th in opponent rushes per game, about 26 attempts. Rushing yards per game, allowing less than 92 yards at 7th in the league, and they still have yet to give up a rushing touchdown on the ground so far through the first few games. So let's see. Something's got to give. Will Derrick Henry play well? Will the Ravens defense deliver what they need to in stopping the run? Remains to be seen, but that's what I would do. Very much focus on shutting down Derrick Henry there. Today's show sponsored by Game Time, the place to go for last-minute tickets, one of our newest partners here at Chat Sports. And it's not just sporting events that they are selling tickets for. You can get tickets to concerts, comedy shows, theater productions, and more, and you can get the lowest prices guaranteed with Game Time. Here's how it works, folks. You pick the event you want to go to, and it's got all the prices listed, and you can see the seats that you could potentially be sitting in. Get an idea of what that view is like and whether you want that seat or not. And then within a matter of moments, you're checking out and getting your tickets on Game Time just like that, folks. And it's so easy to use. You can get these tickets in a matter of seconds if you decide on a whim, you know what, I do want to go to that Ravens game, or I do want to go to that concert. You can with Game Time. I decided a couple weeks ago I wanted to go see my Kansas Jayhawks play University of Texas. Got my tickets just like that. And what I did, I was able to save money with using the promo code RavensChat, and you can too. We're giving you $20 off with that promo code. So download Game Time today, create an account. Terms and conditions do apply. Promo code RavensChat to get your tickets now. Download Game Time. You'll be glad you did. Second on our keys to victory for the Ravens, the football is your friend. What did Finding Nemo say years ago? Like, fish are friends, not food? Well, the football is your friend, folks. And what we saw from the Baltimore Ravens last week, in more than ways than one, they struggled when it came to protecting the football, whether it was with fumbles and turnovers or just simply hauling in catches, right? It kind of goes without saying that the Ravens have to do a better job of this, right? Think about this. In the last 3 games, Lamar has been eating all the Butterfingers these days as the Ravens have fumbled a total of 8 times in those 3 games, and 5 of them have come from Lamar Jackson. Now, you might want to change out the gloves because in the last game that the Ravens had against the Pittsburgh Steelers, it was a grand total of 8 drops they had. And, you know, the statistics initially said 6, and they were corrected. It was even worse than was initially reported. 8 drops they had last week in the 17-10 loss. That was the highest of any game this season by far. You can't let that happen. You got to haul in those catches. No more drops. Can't be fumbling it. Protect the football in more ways than one. Who's a player that needs to step up for the Ravens against the Titans this week? Chime in the comments section. Give us a name or two that you think needs to have a big day for Baltimore. Number 3 on keys to victory, airing it out. And I know some people get hesitant when we talk about the Ravens and the passing game. But I'm telling you, as you look at this matchup against Tennessee here, this is a golden opportunity for the Ravens passing game to get on track of where they want to go, what Todd Monken wants to do with this offense, and really letting Lamar Jackson work. Because when you look at the passing defense statistics from Tennessee, they ain't pretty. Opponent passing play percentage per game is around 57%. That's 20th in the league. Completion percentage is near 72% of completed passes. Meanwhile, Lamar's completion percentage is around that same number, so that bodes well. Titans are 28th in the league in that statistic. They're allowing 7.4 yards per pass attempt. Last time I checked, you only need 4 plays at a time in a 3-down stretch to get a first down. So you're getting a first down every 2 plays if you pass the ball against Tennessee. Opponent passing yards per game, 240. That's 23rd in the league. And interceptions, Tennessee is not creating turnovers through INTs very much. They rank 30th in the NFL. So this is a mismatch of sorts. And an opportunity for the Ravens receivers to also step up in this regard, too. Think about this. Zay Flowers still hasn't had his first touchdown grab yet. Mark Andrews is starting to finally come into his own. Remember, he was injured and got off to a slow start here. I'm looking at this group that the Ravens receiving core has an opportunity to really just get that downfield passing game going and for Lamar to just work and really get this thing going for this group. Watch out. The passing game is going to be crucial to beating Tennessee. Number 4 on our keys to victory for the Ravens, protecting Lamar Jackson. Now, granted, the Ravens have had their issues when it comes to injuries on the offensive line, but last week was kind of a breaking point, right, where we said to ourselves, hey, what happened the last couple of weeks, this past week cannot happen anymore. Lamar was sacked 4 times, and he was hit 6 times in last week's loss, and it was a lot. And in particular, the second half, the Steelers did a really good job of breaking through. And one player I got to call out this week that's really got to step it up a bit is Ronnie Stanley. The Ravens are paying him $23 million not to have performances like he had last week. The PFF nerd numbers for his blocking grades were all below 55. They weren't good. He allowed a sack last week. Ronnie Stanley, granted coming back from injury and all, has got to do a better job than that. What are you paying him for if he's not going to step up in the most valuable position on that offensive line? I need Ronnie Stanley to get back on track and be that Pro Bowl caliber player that we know he's capable of being. What's your trust in this Ravens offensive line? Be honest with me here. How do you feel about this group? Do you trust them to get the job done? If you do, type Y for yes. If not, type in for no. Let us know what you think in the comments section. Last set of keys to victory for the Ravens is finishing strong. You look at the way things went against the Pittsburgh Steelers, it was just an epic collapse. And you go back to the Colts loss a couple weeks ago. That was a game that the Ravens had no business losing, that they did not play well down the stretch. It was a disaster. You can't allow comebacks like that to happen. The defense played good enough to win in both those games, but the offense didn't deliver and close out when they needed to. Think about this. The Ravens are currently ranked 24th in the NFL in fourth quarter points scored per game this season. 4.4 points. That's it. And through the first 5 games, they've only scored a total of 17 points in the fourth quarter. That's not going to fly. That's going to be good. Not going to be good enough. You need to be playing your best when you get to that final quarter to finish out these games strong, close out, and get those wins. So to recap, our keys to victory for the Ravens: got to shut down Derrick Henry. Got to make the football your friend. Really, just when it comes to hauling in those passes, no drops, no fumbles, none of that. Air it out. Don't be afraid to attack that Titans secondary. Protect Lamar Jackson. Give him time to throw the football and give him a clean pocket, and then finish strong. If the Ravens do these things, they should be in good shape. I like this matchup for the Baltimore Ravens come Sunday. I think that the Ravens are a far superior team. The Titans are a tough team to figure out at this point. They confuse me. We know they have some talent. I think Vrabel's a very good coach, but they're inconsistent here. I like this Sunday to be a win for the Baltimore Ravens. I think that when I look at this, the Ravens are just a more talented team when you stack these two teams up side by side here. This is a mismatch. We've talked about the last couple of weeks when you brought up the Steelers game and the Colts game. Those were games that the Ravens lost to teams they were not supposed to. This is another example of that this week against Tennessee. You have no business losing to a team like Tennessee. Ravens, you better get it done. Not expecting this to be a high-scoring affair, but I do expect a Ravens win 21-13. Folks, we will see you coming up this weekend for our Ravens-Titans watch party. We will get things going bright and early with our crumpets and tea. I'll be here. Smitty's going to be here. You will not want to miss it. We'll get started around, about 9 a.m. Eastern Time, 6 a.m. on the West Coast. So get on up, get your coffee, your tea, and make sure and join us coming up this weekend. We'll see you then. Subscribe now. Join us on the channel for Ravens Titans right here on Ravens Run.